Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a Dashing Dish protein shake, and you can find the recipe for so many different flavors of shakes. Really, it's smoothies and protein shakes on dashingdish.com under shakes category. And this is just a really quick, simple go-to breakfast for me or high protein snack. If I'm just needing something that is, quick and on the go and filling, this is a great option. But also, I like to have them after workouts because not only is it a good source of protein, but it also is like a big thing of liquid. So when you're really thirsty, to me, it really tastes amazing as well. So what I do is I start with my blender, and the blender is important. I have a Vitamix blender because if you want to get a good blender, you want to invest in a good blender. Ultimately, if you don't have a good blender, what ends up happening is that they break, and then what happens is that you end up replacing the broken blender over and over again. So you might as well just spend the extra money and get a good blender in the first place so you don't have to deal with all the replacement blenders. Now, if you have one that works for you, great, but I recommend a Vitamix blender. This I got for our first year wedding anniversary for my husband, and we've been married for 8 years, and I have not had to replace it. So that goes to show that it really is worth the investment. And I also use it for grinding up oats for oat flour, and using it for a whole bunch of other things, like just making muffins in the blender, things like that. So it's a great investment. So I take my blender and I first start by putting in a half cup of cottage cheese. You can use organic cottage cheese. You can use lactate cottage cheese if you're sensitive to dairy, but I do recommend using cottage cheese. I give swap outs, so you could use a half cup of Greek yogurt or frozen banana or half a frozen banana, and that will give you a good consistency to start your base of your shake. You need something because if you just add ice and protein powder and water, it's going to be really icy and not taste the best. Cottage cheese gives it just a little bit of a thicker consistency, so it's almost like ice cream. You cannot taste cottage cheese at all, especially if you have a good blender, so I highly recommend starting and just trying with cottage cheese, see how you like it. You might be surprised. The second thing I do is I add ice, and I do have ice cube trays. I'm pretty sure I got these at Walmart, and they're like $1. And you know what? I have 4 trays in my freezer, and I use 1 to 1.5 trays per shake. So I always have backup ice cubes. So if you don't have ice cube trays, you can always just use the ice cubes that come straight from your freezer. And then to that, I add protein powder. And I use 1 scoop of protein powder in all my recipes. I like bone broth protein. It is a new favorite of mine. It is Ancient Nutrition brand, and I get it on Amazon, and it is a little pricey. However, I don't use this for baking. I just use it for my shakes because I really want it to last longer. Because to me, it's worth it. I used it during my pregnancy. I use it nursing, and it's just really the cleanest form of protein powder. But there are tons of great options out there. For baking, I like Designer Way, just the plain. I like so many different brands, and they're all under the favorites page on Dashing Dish. Trader Joe's also has some egg white protein that is really good. And then to the shakes, now I don't do this all the time, I always vary up my flavor of shake, but my 2 favorites are the peanut butter maple and the chocolate protein shake, chocolate peanut butter. So I do usually 2 tablespoons or so of peanut flour, and this is my favorite brand of peanut flour. It is PB Fit, and it's organic. It's from Costco. You can use any brand of peanut flour. And then I do usually a tablespoon or so of unsweetened cocoa powder. And this just gives it a really rich chocolatey flavor. And what I do is, and I keep everything in my basket. So I just pull the basket from my cupboard, and it makes it all there, easy, ready to go. And then I keep a tablespoon measure right in the basket just to measure out the peanut flour and cocoa powder. And then for sweetener, I do either like a packet of New Natural sweetener, or stevia sweetener, or I do sweet leaf sweetener, just like a drop or 2. And those are both really sweet, so you don't need a whole lot. New Naturals also has some cocoa syrup, or I have a recipe to make your own on dashingdish.com. So that is a good way to make it a little bit more chocolatey if you're desiring that as well. And that's sweetened with stevia. And then in this Tupperware, I have xanthan gum. And it's something that I tried years ago. I found it at Whole Foods, I think, and they carry it at almost every grocery store, just kind of by the gluten-free stuff. And because usually people who are gluten-free have to add it to baked goods to make their baked goods rise and things. But anyway, xanthan gum is just simply a thickener, and when you add just a little bit, like a 4th teaspoon to a shake, it makes your shake so thick and creamy, and it just is like ice cream, or like soft serve ice cream. So I love adding about a 4th teaspoon of xanthan gum, but you don't need to, but it just really helps everything come together and get nice and creamy and delicious. So I put all those in, blend it up, and then actually it's so thick I can eat it with a spoon. So it really is like eating ice cream. So you get your protein fix and you get your ice cream fix all in one. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Make sure you check out the recipes at dashingdish.com. Click on recipes and then shakes, and you'll find them all there. Hope you have a great day.